We are going to discuss about a chapter acid, base and salt in a chemistry. First of all, we need to take a definition of acid. How can we define acid? Acid is acidic in taste, tartaric in taste. For example, lemon is also acidic in taste. Tamarind is also acidic in taste. Second point, it converts blue litmus paper into red. Let's assume if we can throw an acid into a someone, they become chuang, they became red. That's why blue litmus paper has converted into a red. Its pH is less than 7. pH means potential of hydrogen is less than 7. If acid reacts with a metal, it gives hydrogen, it's release hydrogen H plus ion according to Arrhenius. For example, we have taken one more example, H2SO4 plus Zn, zinc, gives zinc sulfate plus H2. But in many of acid compounds doesn't have H. So how can we know it's an acid or a base? For example, CO2, SO4, SO2, NO2, it's also acidic in nature. Then how can we know it? So that's we have taken one more point, that is oxygen is greater than or equal to 2 is called acid. Means CO is not an acid, CO is a neutral, carbon monoxide, but CO2 is acidic in nature. For example, we are using we have taken one more example of a beverage, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola also contained with the CO2. When we have taken a Coca-Cola, our neck, our internal organ has become a burn, not like a fire. It's became a burn. CO2 has an acidic in nature. Means more than 50% of oxygen is available is called acidic in nature. But this is a one more shortcut trick. Oxygen level is greater than or equal to 2 means it's also acidic in nature, like CO2, SO2 and NO2. But some of the example has given by Arrhenius is H2SO4, HCl and HNO3 nitric acid. They all are containing with the H2. H means it's also a acid, and H plus ion is also released. According to Bronsted-Lowry concept, Bronsted-Lowry has said that a proton has been released, it's called acid. Means if the reaction is done and a proton has been released is called acid. Lewis concept, according to Lewis concept, acid is the electron acceptor. Means if the reaction is done, electron has been accepted. So we can define as the acid is a proton donor and electron acceptor. We have defined the acid. Next point, effect of carbon on acid. Just one more point, that is carbon with the acid means carbon is present in that in acid contains with the carbon, it's also a weak acid. For example, HCl, H2SO4 and CH3CHO Which one is the more weak acid? That is also CH3CHO, because it contains two more carbon group. Next, the second one is base. If we have understand the acid, then base is also easy. Opposite of acid is called base. For example, its pH is greater than 7. It convert red litmus sorry, not litmus, it is bitter in taste, like bitter gourd. And OH minus ion is present in it. And base, we have taken an example of a reaction base plus water gives alkali. We should take an example of OH minus ion. Where OH is present, it's a base. For example, HNO3, CH3, CHO, and NaOH. Which one is a base? Also a NaOH is a base, because OH group is present in that. So it's a base. We should take another example. Which one is a strong base? MgOH twice, calcium hydroxide, KOH, NH3OH. Which one is a strong base? Strong base is a KOH. How? All are base because all are contained with the OH group. But how the KOH, potassium hydroxide, is a strong base? Because potassium reactivity is more. Then let's understand pH scale. What is pH scale? How to calculate pH, potential of hydrogen? 0. pH scale has been discovered or invented by Sorensen. He said that 0 to 14 is a pH scale and 7 is a neutral point. 0 to 7 is the acid and 7 to 14 is a base. OH minus, H plus. We should take an example of blood pH of a blood, milk, saliva, lemon, vinegar. For example, pH of a blood is 7.4, milk is 6.4, saliva 6.5, lemon is 2.2, urine is 5.5, vinegar is 2.4. Everyone thinks about the how lemon's pH is 2.2, urine pH is 5.5, vinegar pH is 2.4, or blood pH is 7.4. Then we should need to calculate this calculation. Through this calculation you should calculate pH within a second. pH formula is pH is equal to minus log H plus ion. How can we calculate? We have taken one more example, that is, in any solution the concentration of H plus ions is 10 to the power minus 3. Then calculate the pH value. How can we calculate pH value? Minus log (10 to the power minus the H plus ions is 10 to the power minus 3. According to log, 3 has come outside, minus 3 into minus log 10, and minus log 10 value is 1, then minus 1, and 3 into 1 minus plus 3 into 1 is a 3. pH is 3. I have one more shortcut. If you got concentration is 10 to the power minus 3, then pH is also 3. If you got concentration is 10 to the power minus 4, it's also a pH is 4. pH is 4. If you got concentration is 10 to the power minus 1, then pH is also 1. pH. We should calculate pH value of a 10 to the power minus 1 and 10 to the power minus 4. What is the formula? Minus log H plus ions. Minus log. First of all, we should calculate 10 to the power minus 1. 10 to the power minus 1. Then minus 1 come outside into minus log 10. Log 10 value is 1, minus 1 into minus 1 minus 1 is plus into 1. pH is also 1. If we got a concentration is 10 to the power minus 3, 10 to the power minus 4, 10 to the power minus 5, then pH value is also that's in a plus, because the pH scale is 0 to 14. They didn't have a value in a minus, so the pH value is also in a plus. We should take one more example. If the normal concentration, second question, if the normal concentration is 1 by 1000 of HCl, then Then calculate pH value. Let's calculate. Pause the video and calculate it. Now I'm going to start. And normal value means 1 by 1000. 1 by 1000 is also written in that 10 to the power 3. If we go to the numerator, then 10 to the power 3 becomes a 10 to the power minus 3. Then pH of a HCl is 3, because the normal concentration is given 1 by 1000. N by 1000, normal concentration is 1 by 1000, N by 1000. Another example. This one is some unique example. If the concentration of H plus ion is N by 10 to the power 9, not H plus ion. The concentration, if the normal concentration, the unique question is normal concentration is 10 to the power 9 of NaOH. Then what is the pH value? What? Pause the video and calculate it. How can we calculate pH value? The pH value is 5. Everyone is shocked. How? pH value is 5. Let's check. Because 9, 10 to the power, if we come to the upper part, 10 to the power minus 9 is the OH. This one is the OH minus and this one is the H plus ion. 0 to 7 is a pH. 0 to 7 is a pH, but 7 to 14 is a pOH. So that 9 is the pOH. 9 is the pOH. Then how can we calculate pH value? pH plus pOH is equal to 14. Then pH plus pOH value is, we got a 9. 9 is equal to 14. Then pH value 14 minus 9 is equal to 5. Our next topic is, I think you all understand how to calculate pH value. If you have any doubt, then comment me. And the next topic is salt. How can we define salt? Its pH is 7. It is neutral. And the reaction acid plus base gives salt plus H2, and in that salt and H2 both are neutral. For example, take the example is HCl is the acid plus base, NaOH gives NaCl plus H2O. We got a salt. HCl is acid, NaOH is a base. H2O, water. This whole process is called nitrification. Nitrification. How many types of salt? There are many types of salt, but basically we need to study 3 types of salt. First one is a normal salt. Second one is a double salt. Third one is complex salt. Complex salt. What is the identification of a normal salt? Normal salt identification is, it is in a single step. For example, NaCl, MgCl2, etc. Normal salt means it's finished in a single step, but double salt has taken 2 steps. Like alum, potash alum means Al2SO4, K2SO4 thrice, and 24H2. H2 is a different thing because it's a water, but double salt has taken a 2 step, Al2SO4, K2SO4, alum. And complex salt. These all are identification. How can we identify which one is a normal salt, which one is a double salt, and which one is a complex salt? We should take an example of a complex salt. K4, Fe, CN6. Another example, Ag, Cn twice. How can we identify complex salt? Complex salt are a very complex, like they have a bracket, they have a clause coast, they have small bracket, greater bracket. If we can see that, it looks like a very fearless one, because here a foam brackets are available and it's a too long equation. So this one is a complex salt, this one is a double salt, and this one is a normal salt. These all are identification. Next topic, we should understand what is radioactivity. I think that is discussed in the next class. Thank you.